So we're just going live at the moment, watching part two, continuing from obviously after the events of Friday the 13th, part one. I'm not really a fan of the first one, just the fact that it hasn't got Jason in. And for me, the franchise is really all about Jason. So to me, yes, not really about his mum. I know it's kick things off and all that, but I think once you've seen the first one, like you know what's going to happen, and it's who sort of done it when you haven't seen it, you know, when you've seen it for the first time. First, it's sort of like who done, and you're watching it, you don't know who's killing it until the end, and it's sort of once you've seen that, you know it's Jason's mum that's been doing the killing, and then yeah. But as I said, not really a huge fan of that one. For me, it all kicks off when Jason comes into it in part two. Yeah, so yeah, just watched one, and now I'm watching two, and I thought I'd do live watch. I don't know if anyone's gonna even be watching this, but you can watch it after, watch the movie and then just put it on, and then we can watch it. See, like you watching with me if you put it on. Hey, how you doing? Watching Friday the 13th part two. So if you put that on, we can watch the movie together. Because obviously, due to copyright, I can't show the full movie. But or you can just hear the movie if you want to just hear it. Well, I've got it on live feed. You can hear the movie if you don't want to watch it. They're just having the flashback at the beginning of part two after the events of part one. Hey, how you doing? Just watching Friday the 13th, part two, live. So if you have the copy of part, you can watch that with me because that's what I'm watching now. Yes, I'm watching the Friday the 13th, part two. So if you put that on, yes. Which actress? Hi, how are you? I'm watching Friday the 13th, part two. So if you put a copy of Friday the 13th, part two on your DVD or computer, you can watch it. So we can watch it together as we're watching the movie and discuss it. Okay. Well, I'm not too familiar with that actress, but I will look after I've finished going live. Um, yeah, okay. I'll search after I finish this. I mean, if it's about acting, I'll just base the person on acting rather than looks. Hi, how are you? I'm watching Friday the 13th, part two. So if you put that on your DVD or computer, we can watch Friday the 13th, part two together. Is what which I'm watching now. So can you hear that, by the way? The movie. Okay. She's in Avengers Doomsday. Can you hear? Can you hear, guys? Can you hear? Can you hear, guys? Sorry, the sound was really low. So can you hear it? And can you hear the movie? Hope you guys can hear that. So I'm watching. If you've just joined me, I'm watching Friday the 13th, part two. So if you put it on your DVD player or computer, we can watch it together. If I could, I would just put the movie on for us all to watch, and we could just watch it. But due to copyright, can't show the movie. Only can play it so you can hear it. And if you want to watch it on your own, you know, we can watch it together. Hi, how are you? I'm watching Friday the 13th Part 2. So if you put it onto your computer or DVD player, you can watch the movie. We can watch it together, like as if we're watching it together. And we can chat and discuss the movies. Friday the 13th. So that's how I kick off my Halloween season. Always watch the Friday the 13th movies, all of the movies over the weekend. So I watched part 1, now I'm watching part 2. Hello? Can you hear? Sound should be okay now. It may cut out because it's live. I'm not sure if it's... Are you listening on your computer or phone? Are you listening on computer or phone? Can you hear? Can you hear the sound? So we're just coming on to the beginning of part 2 of Friday the 13th, and the actress, can't think of her name, who survived in Friday the 13th part 1, she's about to get killed very shortly after surviving Jason's mum in the first one. She's about to get killed soon. Can you hear? You should be able to hear the sound. The sound is... I'll turn the sound up. Maybe check your connection, maybe. I'm gonna get snacks as well, guys, by the way, if you want to, if you're watching the movie Friday the 13th part 2. Can you hear? Maybe because there's not really much sound on the movie at the moment. She's just wandering around. I think she heard a noise when she was in the when she was taking a shower, and then she's like searching around the house, and then obviously like she's going to get killed shortly by Jason. I really do like part 2 of Friday the 13th. Or like part 2, part 3, part 4. 5, 6, 7 is okay, but I feel the first 3 or 4 movies are best Friday the 13th ones, the early ones. I think Jason's look, Friday the 13th part 2, is such a good look, you know, with a bag over his head. I like the various different looks of Jason. Hi, how are you? Just watching the Friday the 13th part 2. And she screamed because I believe it's a cat come through the window because she's hearing noise. But obviously, in a little while, it's going to be Jason that appears, and obviously, is going to kill her in a minute. And then she's just seen Jason's mum's head in the fridge, and then Jason's just, I believe he used a screwdriver to stick through her head after she discovered Jason's mum's head in the fridge. So it's funny because they had the beginning of Friday the 13th Part 2, and now they're only just having the names, like, you know, coming up now. If you can hear that. Hi guys, if you just joined us, I'm watching Friday the 13th Part 2 live. So if you want to watch the movie, just put it onto your DVD player, computer, and then we can watch it together. So it's almost like we're watching it together, and then we can discuss Friday the 13th Part 2. So the last remaining person from the Friday the 13th Part 1 just got killed just a minute ago by Jason. So that finished off all the cast, I believe, from the first movie. So now we're going to get a brand new batch of campmates in Part 2. Well, I think Part 2 is quite a good Jason film, to be honest. I really like it. Doesn't matter in times you see these, it's always fun. Has anyone else put the movie on yet to watch? Friday the 13th Part 2 to watch? You can watch it together and discuss the movie. There's nothing moving behind me. It's well, it's just some lights there. But I've got Friday the 13th Part 2 on, which I'm watching live now. Friday the 13th Part 2. So if you want to watch it with me, put Friday the 13th Part 2 on your DVD or computer, and then we can watch it as if we're watching it together and discuss the movie. Or you can discuss Friday the 13th, Jason. Just on that bit where campmates arrive at Camp Crystal Lake and they're getting pranked by that camp who likes to prank people, and they're getting their car or jeep or van or whatever it is towed away, but it's obviously a prank. Can you hear the movie, guys? Grab a few snacks if you Want to eat while you're watching the movie, chill out, watching all the Friday the 13th movies over this weekend. Watched part one so far. I'm going to watch part two. No, they saw, because when I was driving, they came across a branch or part of a tree that fell in the middle of the road. Now, there's no explanation what caused that, but possibly could that have been Jason that did that? But you never know who did it. It was just there as they arrived. I guess strong indication it was Jason that tried to, you know, cut part of that tree down to make it in the road, or maybe it wasn't. But yeah, and then it's cut into a scene sort of where someone's watching them. So you think, could that be Jason or could that be someone else? Because sometimes it isn't Jason. Sometimes it's just some other person watching. You just see a hand moving like in the bush. So you think it suggests that it possibly is Jason, but you don't actually see that it is. I believe on the game of Friday the 13th, I think there's the actual cast of this or like characters based on these because I remember there's a guy in a wheelchair that Friday the 13th the game where you go around and you have to kill the campmates and then I think you kill the guy. You have to kill the guy in the wheelchair. So I don't know if they based some of the because sometimes on the games that they make of films and stuff, that some of the characters are made up. But I think some of the characters are actually either in there or did they based them on some of the game. But yeah, there's a level on Friday the 13th, the game, where a lot of these cast or campmates that are in the second film seem to be in one of the levels. I don't know if anyone else has seen that, played the game of Friday the 13th. Hi guys, if anyone's just joined, watching Friday the 13th part 2 live. So if you have a copy of this movie, Friday the 13th part 2, put it onto your DVD player or computer and then we can watch the movie as if we're watching the movie together and then we can discuss the movie and Friday the 13th, Jason, all stuff horror, because obviously it's horror season again. I mean, to be honest, I pretty much buy and enjoy horror all year round. To be honest, but specifically the actual Halloween itself, I celebrate. October and November and watch all like the horror films and stuff. So I guess it's officially Halloween, but general horror. You've seen the stuff on the channel. I buy horror stuff all the time. Not just Halloween, but like I start watching the movies. So I start off with Friday the 13th, then Hellraiser, then Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw, Child's Play, Saw, Scream, and all the rest of it. Jaws, Critters, Gremlins, Terrifier, It, Pennywise. the bit where they're sitting around a campfire telling the story of the events, the first one about Jason. Grab a drink and some snacks, guys, while watching the movie. And again, when I was talking about Jason doing a little prank where he just came out pretending to be Jason to scare the other campmates. Obviously, the Joker of the pack, like he is. And then obviously they think that the stories about Jason, you know, the events of the first one, you know, they think that's all just made up. They don't realise it's actually, you know, true about Jason. And then someone was watching them, the campmates, when they was in the house through the window, and you don't actually see who was watching them. You think it could be Jason. You don't see who it is, but I think it's that you know, that crazy old man that's wandering around and saying like, "Don't go to Camp Crystal Lake" and stuff like. And he's wandering around and stuff. I think it's him that's watching them now and again, and you're thinking it's Jason, but it's him. So then you see someone just walking there in the shadow, like their shadow. Um, Hi, how are you? Just watching that Friday the 13th part 2. So you can watch live with me, Friday the 13th part 2. But again, when you saw that shadow walking across, again, I don't think it was Jason. I think it was that old man. Because you actually see the shadow, and you can see like the shape of his, like of a hat, and I believe that's the old man, not Jason. But I think it's just trying to, at the beginning, when he's walking around, it's trying to think that that's Jason, but it's that old man. And again, someone who's walking around now, you're thinking that's Jason, but it's the old man, and I think he gets killed in a little while. Why? You know who? So he's about to get killed. Strangled by Jason. So what are anyone's favourite Friday the 13th movies out of all 12 movies? What's your guys' What's your favourite movie out of all 12 Friday the 13th films? Mine's definitely the earlier ones. I'd say either part 2, part 4. I think the earlier ones, but I do like Jason versus Freddy. I think it's a really, really good movie, actually. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's just a great movie to watch on a Saturday night. It's just for me, it's just like a perfect horror to watch on like a Saturday. Jason versus Freddy. I think it's really, really good. And yeah, again, it doesn't matter how many times you watch it; it's always fun and enjoyable. Jason versus Freddy. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good. I think it's generally a good movie actually. Together, I think it's got the good uh, two iconic characters, Jason and Freddy. It's got some good kills, some good scenes. I think the acting's not too bad. I think the emotions there with a story of Jason and the flashbacks with him drowning and stuff. Yeah, and I think Freddy versus Jason is just a real fantastic movie. But yeah, I think if I'm going with Friday the 13th, part 2, part 4, I think Jason X is all right, but it's it's got a few things that are not great. It's still all right to watch, at the weekend. I think the remake of Friday the 13th is a pretty good remake because they've tried to make a few horror remakes like A Nightmare on Elm Street. The remake was all right, but Freddy didn't look really that great, and I don't think it was that great in some places. I think they tried to make it too much like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but the remake of Friday the 13th, I think it's a very strong movie and a very good remake. Uh,
think it's right. I think it's like probably in the top five, maybe best Friday the 13th movies. If you're basing it on like quality. I think they're trying to sort out making either a TV series or a new Friday the 13th movie. But yeah, it's nothing's been sort of finished, or I don't even know if they've written the story for the new Friday the 13th. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to take a little while for there's any news of any release of a new Friday the 13th film. Yeah, well, they're in discussion uh, to get an actor to play Jason, and they're they've been talking to uh, Braun Strowman, who used to be a wrestler, who used to work for WWE, and he's been talking to the makers of the new Friday the 13th film to play Jason. Uh, Braun Strowman was or is a wrestler uh, who worked for WWE. He's very, very big. He's about 7 foot tall. His character when he was wrestling, it was like a nickname. He was nicknamed the Monster. I mean, it would be quite a good choice if they decided to have Braun Strowman as Jason. I mean, he's a big guy, so it'd be a right choice. But whether or not he's acting is, up to their standards. I mean, he acted, obviously when he was in WO, but it's different from being a wrestler and then not full on actor. But uh, yeah, it's. I mean, it sounds good, but it's sort of one of them things where you hear it and you think, mm, sounds okay, but it could be one of them things where you hear someone's gonna be in a movie and then it just doesn't work. Um, yeah, so there's a chance it could happen. You know, I mean, I've always watched WWE for years. So yeah, it'd be cool if he did get the job, and he is Jason, because we've seen Glenn Jacobs, who played Kane in WWE, was a wrestler, and he was in a horror movie called See No Evil, and yeah, he didn't do a bad job actually. He looked quite good as the killer in See No Evil. Not sure if anyone has seen that, starring Glenn Jacobs, who played Kane in WWE in See No Evil. There's two, I believe, See No Evil and See No Evil 2. It's quite good. It's not bad. The first one's pretty good. The second one is all right. I think the first one's all right actually. But yeah, maybe he'll do it. But yeah, I don't know. The situation where Friday the 13th, I mean, it's been going on for years now. I mean, the last Friday the 13th was 2009. Uh, so yeah, there's been plans to make another film, and then it's not. Yeah, development hell is what they call a movie where it's sort of, yeah, they have one story, then they change it, then they have uh, the makers of the film, then they lose the rights, then someone else takes over, and you're stuck in development hell, they call it, when a movie's going to be made and then it just doesn't get made for years and years. Yeah, I'm sure at some stage we'll get a new Friday the 13th film, but yeah, it's just all discussion and talk really. Like, so nothing's actually really been finalised. It could be another couple of years, but I'm just like really in a situation where something's just released and yeah, just look forward to watching it. Stuff where it's just all talk, something that might happen or might not happen. Yeah, it's like the game Halloween. The game that's not out till next year. You know, who knows what's going to happen next year? You know, could be, you know, could be dead by next year. You just don't know what's going to happen. I certainly don't plan on playing a game, Halloween game, in a year's time. You know, because you just don't know. And the situation, you know, now we're in, you know, we could be in World War Three. You know, with the situation with Russia and stuff. You know, we're in an uncertain future of what's going to happen. You know, we don't know. You know, I mean, let's just hope that you know it doesn't come to World War Three. But yeah, we're in a very difficult position, especially the UK. We're sort of stuck in between Russia, Ukraine, and sort of like USA. Like we're on, it's supposed to be on USA side, but we're sort of, yeah. I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen. So I mean, I don't plan really what's going to happen in 6 months, or I just take things as they come, you know. And it's all the stuff where people are saying, "Oh, this figure's released in 3 months," you know, so that might happen or something delayed, stuff delayed. I mean, I just buy stuff on the channel when it's released and coming out. I don't worry about what's going to come out in 3 months. I just buy it when I get it, you know, not worrying. So we're on to the part where the police officer or the sheriff he's seen Jason because when he was driving through the forest, he saw Jason running and he's come after him, and then he's arrived at Jason's cabin where he'd been living in the forest, and he's like searching around, and obviously he's going to get killed in a minute by Jason. But he's like sort of found where he's been living, like all these terrible, really. He'd been living like that, but you know, if you're if you're Jason, you're going to be living up, so sneaking up behind him. Good kill with a hammer, the back of the head. You get a few good kills now and again with these films. I mean, they're not, even though you know we like them, the Friday the 13th films. Let's just say that you know sometimes the kills are they look a bit funny, but sometimes they're quite good. The blood looks really stupid, like it looks like paint rather than blood. But you know, they are classics, and I do quite enjoy the earlier Friday the 13th than the late ones. Uh, you're going to watch a movie. Are you not going to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 along with us? And then discuss about the movie. If you put Friday the 13th Part 2 on your DVD player or computer, you can watch it with me as I'm watching it live, so we can sort of watch it as we're watching it together and like discuss the movie, the franchise, Jason, all good things related to the franchise. I just recently bought a new Camp Crystal Lake sign. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure if it's as good as the Spirit Halloween one, but it looks alright. I wasn't able to. I'm over here in the UK in England, and we don't we don't have Spirit Halloween. We have like basic Halloween shops. We have a few stores, but yeah, we don't have like regular stuff like you know the USA has all the best stuff like Spirit Halloween, really good horror shops and stuff. In the UK, England, we don't really have that. We have Comic Cons and stuff where you can buy horror stuff at, and there's a few shops here and there, but we don't have a massive variety. So it's very difficult to get stuff like good quality stuff like Spirit Halloween. So I get all my stuff on eBay. So if it wasn't for eBay, I wouldn't have all the good stuff that you see on the channel. And I was very lucky enough to get Scream Ghostface, the Spirit Halloween sign, really good. And as I said, I tried to get the Camp Crystal Lake Spirit Halloween one. Yeah, couldn't get it. And then even the ones I did see, the Camp Crystal Lake sign from Spirit Halloween, was really expensive. Yeah, but there's this company called Savage Designs that make some stuff, and they made some Camp Crystal Lake signs. So I bought one of them. It looks fairly good quality and nicely made. It seems quite solid. I wasn't too sure because some of the stuff you buy, if it's not like Mezco or Trick or Treat or NECA or Spirit Halloween, sometimes you think the quality, if it's custom, is it really quality? Is it good enough? But yeah, some stuff you can get that's all right. I think the sign is all right. I mean, I paid £48 for it. What the seller was selling it on there for 60, and I managed to get it for 48. So I thought it was quite a good deal. As I said, I've seen sign previously for like £80. So when I was searching for it, I was expected to be £80, and I thought, okay, it's going to be about £80. Then I saw a sign for 60, and I thought 60 is quite good, but then managed to get it for 48. I thought £48 was quite a good deal for the Camp Crystal Lake sign, and I always wanted Camp Crystal Lake sign since I started collecting. I'd just either bought other stuff or didn't get round to getting it, and I thought, you know what, I just had my 41st birthday, and I've got extra cash, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy meaning to get Camp Crystal Lake sign. So I just thought I can't wait any longer. I've got to get one for the collection. You can't have Jason Friday the 13th collection without Camp Crystal Lake sign. It's sort of the one thing that I've been missing from the collection. I've got bobbleheads, DVDs, figures, masks. Now I've got the sign, busts, statues, clothing of Jason. I'm going to be doing the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees collection later on in a little while. So that's going to be one of the videos that's coming next. Got a few videos. Got a lot of videos. Well, I've started doing about 8 or more videos because it's Halloween already. So I've got a lot more Halloween cool stuff going to be made. So I'm going to be quite busy over the next couple of weeks making videos for you guys to enjoy. I hope you've been enjoying all the horror and Halloween videos so far. Going to be some more fun ones coming, and lots of fun shorts. So we're just on to the bit of the movie where all the campmates just like messing around, but obviously like they're going to get killed one by one. So we're just on to the bit where one of the campmates was walking around, and then they end up getting tied upside down with some rope. Now I don't know if I'm guessing that was Jason's handiwork setting that up, so someone ended up getting tied and hanging upside down. I think he's about to get killed in a moment by Jason. He just got killed. I think she's going to get killed next. Didn't actually see her get killed. She just saw her because she just came back to him and see that he'd been killed, and then she was screaming, and then didn't see her get killed, but then it just cut straight onto the other campmates who have gone out for the night, like to some club. They're quite lucky, aren't they? The other campmates that have gone to this club, none of them get killed, do they? They go out and that's it. They don't go back to the camp. They just go out. So they're quite lucky. None of them get killed. I think only the guy that's in charge of the camp ends up going back to the camp. Anyone that's still watching, guys? Grab your snacks, guys, if you want to have any food while you're watching the movie. If you're watching it, I don't know if anyone's watching it. Is anyone watching the movie? Did anyone put the movie on? Did anyone put their DVD on so they're watching the movie when I'm watching it? I've got these new or fairly new bars of chocolate that I've just picked up that was in the Iceland supermarket. They're called Yonkers, and they're sort of like Snickers bars, very much like Snickers bars, chocolate. They've got peanuts, caramel and wafer and chocolate inside. I think it's like a promotion thing that they've started doing to see if they sell, because they're very, very small. Show you the size of the actual bar. Very, very small bar. But I think it's like sort of a promotion thing that they're doing to try and sell these because they're like £1 for 6 bars to see if they sell. I mean, I've been buying them since they've released because they're quite tasty. But yeah, it's very small at the moment. It's think they're trying to see if they sell, and then maybe do them larger. Well, that's what I mean. Well, that's what I'm hoping, because they're quite tasty. So hopefully they'll make them bigger, like maybe the size of like Twixes possibly. But I don't know anyway. But I'll still keep buying them in the meantime. Yeah, they're quite tasty. It, it does taste like a Snicker, but why they would make something that's already similar to something that's already released? Because what when they're released, they'll be competing with the same bar, like Snickers. But yeah, it's quite tasty. Yonkers bars. So we've got them over in the UK. Do you have anything like that over in America or USA? Anyone still watching, guys? So someone is watching one of the other campmates. I believe it is Jason now. Certainly the old man. He got killed by Jason a little while ago. So guessing it is Jason. But again, when you see someone looking, you don't know, because when it doesn't actually show you who's watching it, you don't know if it is Jason or someone else. Sometimes it's obvious, but if you don't see him, you know. But I think this time it is Jason. But earlier on, it was the old man. But Jason is obviously looking for his next kill. Did she get killed just then? I can't remember. I can't see if she got killed there. I know something was going on. I know the guy that's in the wheelchair. He's about to get killed. I always remember that. By Jason. So there's one thing with on the game Friday the 13th. I'm pretty sure there's a character in the wheelchair that's based on this, or whether it is like that. Very similar on the game of Friday the 13th. But anyway, he's about to get killed very shortly. It's quite a good kill, that, isn't it? It's quite an iconic one. I think you see it quite a few times. You know what? Through the later movies, they're discussing Jason's legacy, and you always see that kill, don't you? It's quite iconic where a guy in the wheelchair gets killed, and then his wheelchair sort of just starts rolling down all the stairs. And now seeing Jason having a wander around, looking for his next victim. Just coming up to about an hour on the movie now. Soon goes quick, doesn't it? Sometimes I feel like some of the movies go too quickly, and it doesn't. You know. Sometimes I watch a lot of movies twice because it just goes too quick, and you can't enjoy them when it goes so quick. So you feel like you want to watch them twice. Not because it's fun. But yeah, it seems to be like quick. I mean, we've watched. This has been on just about an hour or just over now. There's only like literally about 20 minutes left. And then Jason's just killed, I believe he killed 2 campmates together at the same time. He impaled them with a weapon straight through both their bodies and into the bed. And again, I'm pretty sure that this whole cast is on Friday the 13th, the game. Because I remember because a lot of these kills you have to perform when you're playing the game. Friday, when you're Jason, and you have to perform, the kills that it says. You have to kill someone by doing this, and you have to kill someone by doing that. And I'm pretty sure some of these, whether they based that level on this movie but yes, a lot of these kills I remember seeing. I'm pretty sure a lot of the levels based on the films. But I think the game was really a lot of fun doing it. The kills from the film, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think they just. I don't think they could actually. I don't think they had the rights to call the characters the same as in the film, but I think they just based it a lot. The characters on characters in the film, in the game of Friday the 13th. So it looked like they was the characters. Sorry, what is illegal in the UK? What do you mean? We're watching Friday the 13th, part 2 live. If you just joined us, we've been watching Friday the 13th, part 2 live. So if you had the chance to put the movie on early on, so Jason just killed his next victim. I think he just brutally just stabbed her against the wall. Yeah. So if you did joined us at the beginning when I started doing this, if you did put Friday the 13th part 2 on your DVD or computer, you could have watched Friday the 13th with me as if we were watching it sort of together, and then discuss the movie. But we've been watching it for about just over an hour now. So we're literally like on the last 15-20 minutes of the movie, Friday the 13th, part 2. I think it's always a fun movie no matter how many times you see Friday the 13th Part 2. So I believe the final girl, so to speak, of Friday the 13th Part 2, just come back to the camp, and she's looking around, and they're just discovering all the murders, that Jason's done, and they're just looking around and discovering all the bodies. Now Jason has just appeared again, and then we're on to sort of that last sort of what 15 minutes, I guess, of the movie, where Jason's fighting the last two survivors. So Jason is just about chasing. I can never remember the names of any of these characters. Apart from Jason, I don't really catch the other Camp Crystal Lake. The Camp Crystal Lake campmates. But the final girl in Part 2. She's the only one that's literally left now. So she's getting chased by Jason. I think the last bit of Part 2, Friday the 13th, is quite good. It's quite lengthy, and it goes on. When Jason's chasing it goes on for quite a while. But it's quite good, It's not over too quickly. That body of that old man that was wandering around earlier, who got killed by Jason. She just saw his dead body, like fell out. I think she opened the door, and it was his body just fell onto her or something. She opened the cupboard, and his dead body just fell on her or whatever it was. She's trying to get away now. She got into a car to try and get away. And obviously, with the NECA Friday the 13th Part 2 Jason figure, that's get all the accessories, all the weapons that he uses in the movie, like the card fork, machete, all the other tools, which is quite good that you see them in the movie and then getting the accessories with the figure. It's a very, very good figure, the NECA Part 2 figure. Certainly looks good in the collection. So she's still trying to get away from Jason. Such an iconic look. I know, like with Jason, with his hockey mask, it's the most iconic look. But I feel you know, with the bag over his head in part two is a very, very iconic look as well. And I think it's a really, really good look. It just looks, with the bag over his head in part two, it looks so menacing. I think like the look of that, and then the blue shirt, and then the sort of denim dungarees or whatever over it is a good look. So she's hiding, and then Jason is trying to look for her. Obviously, he knows she's hiding somewhere. She's under the bed, I believe. He's all like searching around for her. I think the mouse pissed when she was under the bed. There was or a rat. I don't know if it was a mouse or a rat, but as she's hiding under the bed, the mouse, I'm sure, pissed, and she was like, the mouse just pissed where I'm trying to hide. And now Jason has obviously seen where she is. And now she's off to the races again, trying to get away from Jason. Grabs herself a chainsaw. And does absolutely nothing with the chainsaw. Like, she tries to attack Jason with the chainsaw, but like, doesn't even, she literally goes at him with the chainsaw, doesn't even cut him or anything. It's like she just literally hurls it at him, sort of, and then it falls on the floor. And then she tries to attack him tries to hit him with a chair, But I mean, that's obviously not going to do any good against Jason. So she's gone into the barn or the shed where Jason was keeping his mum's head. When Jason's mum got her head chopped off in the first movie, Jason had obviously kept his mum's head in a shed, and then she goes in there and sees that Jason's mum's head. And then obviously she tries to make herself look like Jason's mum, pretended to be Jason's mum. Which obviously turns out to be a good tactic. Trying to confuse, she basically confuses Jason into thinking that that's his mum, giving her the opportunity to, to attack him. So obviously he realised that she was tricking him, and then obviously he see his mum behind her. Now Jason is just grappling with, that guy who's the boss, the one who's in charge of the camp. He's just fighting with Jason. And then now Jason's about to get at least killed at the beginning of 2, for now. Obviously not killed overall, because he never gets killed. But he gets temporarily killed by her at the end of this. She thinks she's killed Jason, but no one has known it. I guess no one ever will. Only just temporarily killed him briefly. so that they can hear a noise now and they think it's Jason, but it's the dog that comes back. There he is. The return of the dog. But then obviously Jason smashes through the window. To get to the final girl. I think she was. I think she was. I think she was dreaming, wasn't she? Because you see Jason come through the window to grab her. You don't actually see her or him getting killed. You just see him smashing through the window, grabbing her, and then it cuts straight to her getting taken away in an ambulance. So I don't know if she when I fell asleep and was dreaming that happened, or yeah, didn't sort of explain what happened there. But yeah, but I'm guessing she was dreaming where he jumped through the window and grabbed her, because then she just woke up and she was getting taken away in an ambulance. And that is it, guys. That's the end of Friday the 13th Part 2. And that's going to be the end of this live feed. I'm going to be doing, going to watch another one of the Friday the 13th films on Sunday. Next one I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing watching Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, or Part 8. So I'm going to pick one of those. And yeah, so thanks to anyone who's joined me. And if anyone has missed this, you can watch it. You can watch the live feed, even if you miss it live. You can still watch the live feed. So yeah, if you want to have a bit of fun, put Friday the 13th Part 2 on your DVD or computer, and then we can watch it as if we're watching it together. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. More horror and Halloween vids coming up. I've got a few more videos to make in a little while, so please check them out. And yeah, so guys, that's going to be the end of this, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.